Well, another Monday morning has rolled around and it's time for another work week. Maybe you had a case of the Sunday scaries or Sunday blues. And when I talk about another work week, it does not all mean only paid employment. Students, you have a work week ahead. For those at home taking care of loved ones, well, the work never ends. Those who are unemployed certainly have a full and busy week ahead with its ups and downs and uncertainties. In fact, the material in this presentation was developed during one of my several long-term periods of unemployment and trying to find ways of encouragement and structure to the search and to keep it moving forward. We need spiritual nourishment during the week. A Sunday sermon may be great, but I find it fades quickly once we jump back into the week's realities. We need something ongoing. So what can we do on a regular basis during the work week that will provide spiritual growth and encouragement so we cannot just get through it, but find ways to make it more fulfilling and create something to look forward to every week? And it does not require much time. I can only describe what worked for me. I will offer 5 things I did during the week while I was unemployed and found it works when employed too. First, let me say I did not jump into these all at once and gradually work my way into them over time. The important thing is consistency. What can you do more regularly when starting out? Here's some ideas. Number 1, on Monday mornings before I start work for the week, but instead sometimes in the evenings while doing a workout, I listen to a Sunday sermon of a church on YouTube. I searched through a number of churches until I found one I could settle on and stick with. I've stayed with that selected church for consistency and to follow sermon patterns over a long-term period, produce familiarity, and feel part of it. For a different and perhaps fresh perspective, it was of a different denomination from the one of which I'm a member. In the interest of time and to maintain focus, I only listened to the sermon. Occasionally, I will hear the announcements at the beginning to get an idea of what's going on in that church. You can also, listen to it during the morning workout if you have one. I found it sets the tone and stage and a launching pad for the week. I really began to look forward to them. Find a daily devotional site, this is number 2, on YouTube or Facebook that is about 5 or 6 minutes, and listen to that with breakfast or before heading out the door to work. Or for those working remotely or in a job search, switching over to your needed site to begin the work week. I did that and still do it to this day. One I really like is hosted by the pastor of the Gordon Avenue Baptist Church in Adel, Georgia, called Coffee and Conversation. You can find it on the church's website, Gordon Avenue Baptist Church. It is about a 5 or 6 minute daily devotional that is posted no later than 6 a.m. or so every morning Eastern Time, usually earlier, of a scripture verse and its applicability for our lives today. This is just an example. Once I got into the habit, it just became part of my everyday routine, still is. I feel my day does not get off to a right start if I miss it now. Number 3, pray. Take about 5 minutes a day, but try to do it within the same time period each day to get into the habit. Just treat it as a normal, everyday conversation with God. Of course, if you want to go longer and more often than that, by all means do so, but 5 minutes a day may help keep the prayer focus starting out. Number 4, this is not a lone venture. Take a break and get out of the house and meet others. Many churches have midweek Bible studies, some in the mornings, some in the evenings. This can provide encouragement, is cost-free, and a break from having to put on a game face. Including travel time, it should take no more than 2 hours. I still do this now, but it is online with a church in another state and time zone on Tuesdays, which better fits with my working hours, and we are a cohesive and supportive group. There is no travel time. This only takes 45 minutes to an hour at the most. So if time is a factor, there are online opportunities out there too. And number 5, we've been looking at what others say about the Bible, but you can read scripture straight from the source, the Bible. I'm not going to suggest how much or how little time, that's up to you and your schedule, but do approach it with organization. Instead of picking it up and reading it randomly, there are guides out there that select an order of passages to read so one can see how they tie together for a fuller understanding. So all this does not really take that much time. We're only talking about 30 to 45 minutes on Mondays, might even be less if the sermon is short, 10 or 15 minutes or so on Tuesdays, a couple of hours, maybe even less, usually on a Wednesday, and maybe 10 to 15 minutes on Thursdays and Fridays. If I had to start with any, I would do the daily 5 or 6 minute devotional. Also, the Monday morning sermons I started looking at are only once a week, and I began to look forward to them. What was the result? In my case, I found the Workweek has really become a joint project that Christ and I are working on together. We are both in it, and we both want the results that are the best. He shares in the ups and downs of it. He just keeps saying, let's keep at it, try this or that. It's not to say that all will be smooth and disappointment free. For those of you seeking employment, I understand the disappointments, like worthless networking events, which for me all were. Then there were the job interviews that went very well, even talking starting dates and never hearing a thing again. And the 2-hour job application where you repeat everything on your resume and there is no autofill or autofills that really work. And then you hit the submit button, you find it's no longer available. Why was it even posted or not disclosed at the beginning? We need to remember that we work on God's time. He will get us through it. He will. In my case, all 4 unemployment periods had successful endings and were better jobs than the ones before. The search was an adventure with Christ who gave me the stamina to keep on through it. I and all of us need that stamina to keep on through the work week. You will need it to deal with and overcome the week's challenges, but more importantly, improve wholeness that helps improve the quality of life in general and makes the day something to look forward to. So again, I'm not suggesting you jump into all these at once. These are only suggestions and what has worked for me. I do think they offer some ways to fit spiritual growth into our busy and tiring work days. Try 1 or 2 at first and stick with them. You can always add more later if you want. So let the adventure begin.